Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the MLOps Architect's playbook. We're going to figure out how the pros take these really promising but, kind of broken AI projects and turn them into production-grade systems that actually make a difference. Here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll tackle this massive problem that's tanking most AI projects. Then, we'll dive right into the tech stack that helps you solve it. After that, we got to talk about the human side of things, zoom out to the architect's mindset, and then wrap it all up with a super practical checklist you can use right away. Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty staggering number, a single figure that really explains why so many exciting AI projects just completely fizzle out before they even see the light of day.
80%. This is the number that should honestly keep you up at night if you're in this space. It represents a just enormous amount of wasted time, wasted money, and frankly, wasted brain power. So what does it actually mean?
Yep, you heard that right. The vast majority of models that look so good in a pilot just die. They never actually deliver any real business value. You know the drill, right? It works perfectly on a laptop, it looks amazing in a presentation, but the second it meets the real world, it just breaks. So what's going on here? Well, it's a whole cocktail of issues. You've got technical problems like data drift. That's where the data in the real world starts looking different from your training data. It's kind of like training a self-driving car only in sunny weather, and then being shocked when it crashes in the snow. Then you've got the classic, well, it works on my machine problem, and just huge blind spots where nobody is actually watching the model's health. But, and this is crucial, you also have people problems, team silos, and endless bureaucracy that just strangle innovation. So how do you beat these insane odds? The answer isn't some new fancy algorithm. Nope. It's about adopting a totally new way of thinking and a very specific set of tools. It's about adopting the mindset of an MLOps architect. So if all that's the problem, what's the solution? What's the architect's #1 weapon against all these silent failures? It all comes down to a rock-solid observability stack. Let's get into the engineering. I love this idea of model health insurance. It's perfect, right? This isn't just about checking if a server is on or off. No way. It's about deeply understanding what's happening inside your system so you can stop failures before they happen. It's a huge shift from frantically asking, is it broken, to proactively knowing, is it about to break and why? Let's walk through this core workflow. It's actually pretty straightforward. First, you use a tool like MLflow to log everything about your experiments and officially register the model that's ready for prime time. Second, a tool called Prometheus is constantly checking in on your live model. Every 15 seconds, it's scraping key metrics like data drift or latency. And finally, Grafana takes all that raw data and turns it into beautiful dashboards. And this is the important part. It automatically fires off an alert the moment any metric looks fishy. And for all the engineers watching, here's the best part. You don't need some huge, complex system to get started. I mean, look at this. With just a few lines of Python, you can create a custom gauge. Think of it like a speedometer for your model's data drift. This custom little metric you just built can then feed right into your whole monitoring system. It's so simple, but it's an incredibly powerful way to make observability real and totally tailored to what your model needs. Okay, but here's the thing. You could have the most amazing tech stack on the planet, but if your teams aren't talking to each other, it's all going to fail anyway. And this brings us to the people part of the problem, which, let's be honest, is usually even harder to fix. And the numbers here are just as bad. You see this all the time, right? The data science team builds this brilliant model and then just kind of chucks it over the wall to the DevOps team, who doesn't really get it. Meanwhile, the business team is just sitting there wondering why nothing is happening. It's a classic bottleneck. So a smart architect doesn't just tell people to collaborate more. They build bridges. They create these small, dedicated pods with people from every team working together. They use tools like a RASI matrix, which just clearly defines who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, so there's zero confusion. And they create what are called golden pipelines. Think of them as easy-to-use templates that let anyone deploy a model the right way every single time. And this is where it all clicks together so beautifully. Remember that Grafana dashboard we talked about, the tech tool? Well, it turns out it's also the perfect tool to solve our people's problem. Because now everybody's looking at the exact same single source of truth. The data scientist is watching the drift score, the DevOps engineer is tracking latency, and the business stakeholder can see the direct impact on ROI all in one place. Game changer. This all leads us to something much bigger, a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about changing how you view your job entirely.
Now this right here is a classic architect's dilemma. This is the kind of trade-off they think about all day. On one hand, you could use a managed service like Vertex AI. It's way faster and less complex to manage. But you lose some control and might get locked in. On the other hand, you can self-host everything on Kubernetes. You get total control, perfect for custom high-performance jobs, but it's a lot more work and you need a really mature team to pull it off. There's no right answer. The architect's job is to weigh these options against the company's actual needs.
And look, if you remember only one single thing from this entire explainer, please make it this quote. You're not building models. You're building systems that build models reliably. Your job isn't to be an artist handcrafting a single masterpiece. Your job is to be an engineer building a reliable, scalable factory that can churn out hundreds of high-quality models.
All right, let's bring all this home. We're going to wrap up with an actual, actionable checklist that you can take back to your team tomorrow. Use this framework as a health check for your own projects. Go down the list. Do you have the must-haves? But even more importantly, do you see any of these red flags? Because that red flags column, that is your early warning system. Things like manual deployments, a hero culture where only one person knows how anything works, or being obsessed with model accuracy instead of business value. Those are the signs that a project is heading for disaster.
So at the end of the day, success in MLOps isn't just about the code. You have to attack the problem on 3 fronts all at once. You need that relentless observability to actually see what's going on. You need structured collaboration to get your teams working together. And you have to always have that systems-first mindset.
So we'll leave you with this challenge. Take another look at that checklist and be really honest with yourself. What is the single biggest red flag in your workflow right now? And what's one small, concrete thing you can do this week, not next month, this week, to start fixing it? Answering that question is your first real step on the journey from just building models to becoming a true system architect.